Right, Autophiles
in a Civic
Type RS. This is the latest generation of Civic lah. Civic RS, which is the highest spec Civic you can get in Malaysia.
Correct. For now.
For now.
Launched earlier this year. The competition is the Mazda 3 and the Toyota Corolla Altis. This is the only one that is CKD. In the last generation, man, the Civic was basically the king. It was a groundbreaking design.
It was. Shocking.
Yeah.
Whether it's beautiful or not, that's up to debate. But shocking is definitely objectively true.
Correct. Once I sit in this and I see the previous one, there's no desire.
Like a puppy love. Like, what the heck was wrong with me? You know?
Yeah. It's like looking back on your Limp Bizkit era.
Ouch! That hit home.
This car actually, despite being a whole generation different, similar chassis, same chassis that just upgraded. Similar engine, just upgraded. The CVT also similar, just upgraded. Everything in this car made it work the first time.
Let's do it again better.
Yeah, correct. And when you look at the design, you can kind of get that feeling. Let's do it again. Let's just make it
But with a different KPI this time. Wider, bigger. And you see that sacrifice. Because the original product was designed with that holistic concept. Now you're repeating the same thing, which is fine, but you're adding certain dimensional, I think, KPIs that needs to be achieved, and you see that reflects in the shape, isn't it?
Yeah. You can see okay, we got to be more mature, because some customers came in and say, why your car like
because
this?
the old one has horrible sitting position at the back. And I mean, first impression, when I first saw this car launch in America, it was like, is that all? Is this like a prototype? It's like there are some lines not there yet, but eventually it turns out it is exactly the same. And Honda has been doing this, right? One generation shocks you, the next generation they just pull back. And this is that generation that they pull back in terms of looks. So it was a bit disappointing. I start seeing it on the road a little bit recently. I don't say it's an ugly car. I think it's contextual because the previous generation was shocking and it was groundbreaking. And then now you have a car that looks like an alternative to an Altis. My first impression wasn't very impressed when it comes to looks. Nonetheless, I took it for a drive just now. Wow. Stay tuned, man.
Actually, my first impression is very similar to yours.
They didn't put a lot of effort into design, that's for sure.
They didn't. The last one, I think they put too much effort. To the point where they were trying to create some trends that don't exist.
It was a 3-hour makeup.
3-hour makeup. This one is like, they didn't try to create any trend. They simply looked at the trend and say, let's do this. Let's do the same thing and let's just make it our own. But this is a car that you have to drive, experience, and you will appreciate what they did. Right outside my house, there's one parked. Someone bought one. It's been there for a month. So every time I pass by, I'm like, and then I start to say less E, and I start to like,
What's that syndrome called?
Stockholm.
But that is our first impression, so it's skin deep. So that's the reality.
Now we get into
the car and let's go for a drive. So I did a crazy drive just now. I have to say, freaking impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It drives like the sort of A4 base model, that kind of touching of that kind of sophistication.
Definitely, man. We're talking about a 3 Series or an A4 from previous generation. That kind of feel. Wow, it's so competent, man.
Compared to the previous Civic, it feels a lot more sophisticated, and the chassis feels a lot more rigid and able to absorb bumps and all that.
Performance, man, 180 horses, 240 Newton meter of torque. I think that's a respectable amount, man, especially considering what you're getting. This car is very Jekyll and Hyde, especially in the steering feel. That one is very obvious. When you put it into sport mode, the car feels like an entry-level sports car.
The only thing that's lacking in the sports car detail is I think the CVT makes the acceleration a little bit disconnected.
There was a bit of disconnection there in using of a CVT.
But the responsiveness is there.
It's definitely there. So in sports mode, actually, this car is actually quite good. Even though you don't get that violent feel from VTEC, but you don't need to. This car is turbocharged. The fact that the car feels so different from sports mode to normal mode, that is actually quite commendable. The problem, however, is the car in normal mode
is not that comfortable.
It's not that great. I have to say the NVH is it leaves a lot of room for improvement. When you're driving normally in low speed, you already hear a little bit of a hum. Now, it's not to say that this hum is not there in the previous generations. They are. But in the current generation of Corolla, it's already not there. You see the problem. There is a severe droning.
Yeah.
Ride comfort is okay. Vibration is okay. I like it. But the road noise is something that preventing me from settling down into a relaxed driving position. That's the only complaint I have, to be honest. The NVH is quite poor. Other than that, I think it's an amazing car. Horsepower is more than enough for you to do crazy speeds.
Yeah. The two basic things that they should have done is the tire noise and the lumbar support. Maybe if we test out a lower spec one, maybe it's a different seat design.
Yeah.
But for this RS spec, it's a blend. The dynamic gets 4.2.
Yeah.
The comfort part gets more like a 3.5.
Yeah. I agree with you actually. For me, the comfort is 3.5. The dynamics, I would give it a 4. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it feels like...
It's more than I expect in the segment. So average out about...
3.9.
High trees.
Yeah, 3.9.
It's such a shame that so many impressive things in the performance are dragged down by missing fundamentals.
Right.
Kind of sad.
So this is the RS version. So as you can see, black rims.
Yeah, black rims, and then they got an RS badge. In the regular one, you don't get LED, I think.
Oh.
And they darken it.
Okay.
So inside, the inserts there are darkened. They blacken the door handles, the wing mirrors, and the rims, and the antenna at the back.
Okay, and there's a spoiler there as well.
Yeah, they put the spoiler as well. This is the front face that we have to get used to.
Yeah.
It is not as striking as the last one. This one kind of looks a bit more subdued, a bit more mature.
A lot more. In pictures, it looks very...
Plain,
yeah. It's like, what's going on with the front? But in body, at least when you see the reflections, you see some design element going on.
This thing kind of... it disappears for me. I don't really pay attention to this because so much of my attention goes to this thing.
Oh yeah, the nose, the kaiju nose.
The kaiju nose.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a kaiju nose. Man.
Yeah, I remember there's one kaiju like this.
It just doesn't have that patch of RS stuck on it.
Yeah, this is
the side of the nose.
I actually start to like this a bit more, because the more I look at this, the more I remember the previous gen was just a gigantic piece of chrome that was remember?
Yeah.
And when I look at this, it's like, this is the opposite of that. Chrome is kind of garish, kind of in your face.
Okay.
This is literally body color.
Right.
It just kind of slopes and becomes a sculpture of its own. The issue, I think, is they are trying to sort of uniform the entire design language because now their electric cars are all coming with this grille that...
I know, because electric car doesn't need
the grill, that
so like
air intake. The new Honda Fit and all that, it doesn't have a grill. It's just literally this panel goes all the way down.
Right.
So I think they're trying to make this like a family look. And on the petrol cars, it just looks a bit too plain. There's not much to complain about. It's more subjective things.
Yeah. It's not ugly.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. It's just like could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
In body, technically speaking, is okay.
Yeah.
From this angle, right? You cover the front. It looks very BMW 3 Series.
Oh yeah. When you don't look at the front, up to here,
it's very BMW 3 Series. Except for the bulbous side mirror,
and it's like door mounted, which BMW might not do.
Yes, correct. BMW may have. But other than that, it looks very... I don't know, F30...
Even though the front is a bit controversial, I like what they did with the side silhouette.
Right.
Because the character lines all flow to somewhere. Here flows from like, the hood all the way to the back into the tail light. This one goes into like the fog lights at the back, this bottom line. It looks like a very purposeful thing. Normally in Japanese cars, sometimes the lines go
You have funny lines going nowhere.
Yeah, but this car looks like the side profile at least was done quite well. This line here, the Accord brought this in actually, but in the Accord everything is chrome. Here it's blacked out.
I like it. I like that the fact that it come off the factory looks slightly modified.
I think they looked at the trend. Everybody who bought the previous car are blackening everything, so they just
do it.
And then
the shark fin.
Yeah.
And then the matte black.
Oh man, I love these rims.
A satin matte. It's a satin finish.
It's like a satin finish.
Yeah.
Not really matte, but like
kind of satin finish rim.
This looks like the kind of rim that you go to an Audi showroom and they charge you like 20,000.
Yeah. Okay, the side is pretty good looking. You see a shadow of the previous generation here.
Sometimes I look at this car and it looks, not to say bulbous, but in a 3 Series you wouldn't get this feeling that the doors are a bit too big for the body.
Oh,
I sometimes see it from some angles, but it's not such a...
I don't think it's the door, I think it's the handle.
The handles are too big.
The handles are too big.
Yeah,
it's too big.
Handle, yeah. There was something off with the proportions. I think it's the handle.
The handles are too... And seriously, the rear mirror is just too bulbous.
The lane watch camera here.
The additional bulge at the bottom. You're not paying premium money,
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, you just remember that. You're not paying premium money. It's okay.
The back, I don't know, it doesn't look as characterful as the last one.
It's like they didn't know what to do with it.
At least it doesn't look ugly.
Twin tips though.
Yeah, in the RS you get the twin tips. In the other models you don't get. In the other models they black it up.
Right.
They hide it.
In case you forget.
In case you forget.
Alright.
Road sailing.
Roads, really?
Road sailing.
Road sail where?
Sail down the road.
Okay, so this is the boot. Okay. Entry doesn't look restricted.
Yeah. The floor is okay. It's near my knee.
Not too high.
Yeah, not too high.
Why so crumpled?
Yeah, it looks very loose.
Why so crumpled?
Okay, at least there's a bag for it. And the toolbox is not flying.
At least you have a real spare tire. I'm not going to complain. It's a space saver. I don't see a lot of sound deadening. You can pull this and then it will drop down.
Yeah. But you have to push it. Like that.
Oh, okay.
And I can't find a lever to do from the inside. It's a bit small. Yesterday I transported a few things.
Yeah.
You can feel the restriction.
Okay.
But that's just a sedan problem. It's not really an SUV problem.
Well, technically this is a notchback, isn't it?
Yeah, the way it slopes down. It's like a 2.5 box.
Yeah, it's a notchback.
I think it's the first time I'm sitting in the back.
Okay. The headroom lah.
The headroom going in was a bit...
Because of the swooping roof.
Yeah.
The lift back, notchback kind of roof.
Sitting back here, my head clears.
Clears?
Yeah. If the person in the front pushed the chairs in front, it's okay, the thigh support is okay. But at this position, I have to lift up a bit.
So this is level with my sitting position, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the entry lah, the head, because of that swooping roof lah. But okay, touch my hair lah.
Touch your hair.
Touch my hair, but if I slouch a bit, then okay lah. It's not uncomfortable. Leg room for me is amazing. Thigh support is ngam. Yeah, I like that.
No, floppy.
Floppy little.
I think okay for
la.
2 people. Then you get your events, USBs. But there's no light at the back, which I found a bit troublesome yesterday when I was looking for luggage at the back. This is the only light you have.
The window is very low. Actually, my eyes is literally at the top of the level of the window. So I'm looking down.
Correct.
Yeah, it's very weird.
At least you get an airbag on this pillar.
Oh, push. Let's go to the front. It's okay lah, it's not uncomfortable. Alcantara-like feel, but it's not. It does feel like imported Hondas.
Yeah, this is only on the RS model.
Yeah. It's not a very groundbreaking interior. It's okay lah. But I particularly like this. This started with what? Audi.
But I think Honda was the first one to do honeycomb.
Honeycomb. Huge with physical dial. Yeah. That's good.
And it has wireless Apple CarPlay. You get in the car, immediately it's
things I don't really understand.
Basically, this kind of thing usually only comes with
expensive
BMWs,
car. Okay.
200 plus thousand car. The problem is there's no wireless charger, so you still have to bring a cable. It's silly because like the whole point of that is you don't bring a cable. But then to charge, you need your cable. So it's a bit of a missed opportunity.
So you have that traditional one, which is okay. Then you have 2 USB. C.
No, A.
You have a plastic textured surface, which is really nice.
Nicer.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is actually textured. This thing, and it's the same stick.
In the city. But I think the Civic has always been a bit lower than that.
Yeah, and I don't think the Civic was on one side. I think it was on the center last time.
Sitting lower feels more sporty. This one looks a bit like...
Yeah, it's a little bit higher.
You know, it's actually quite nice. It's in the city, I remember, A bit of bling like this is okay.
It's tastefully done.
Yeah, digital display and then it also display up here. Which is
but what is missing is it doesn't have dual zone.
Yeah, which is very odd.
What is new for this generation is you get a drive mode selector. It's good, you know, because before this Honda was a bit confused. You had drive and then you had sport for the gear, but you had also an eco button. So you can press eco so that the aircon compressor doesn't come on all the time. But then you can put in sports mode, so you're not really saving petrol. This time it's like you just put it in drive and then one toggle will just decide for you. And listen to the sounds.
Yeah, quite loud. This is PlayStation.
Like Nintendo Wii.
Nintendo Wii. Oh yeah, Wii. More Wii.
Yeah. They got some nice color graphics.
Yeah, like this is Sporto. This is at night when the police are asleep. This is driving in a city. This is when you go to the town and country.
Yeah. Why the rim not black?
Oh, this is...
Hey, for RS rim, you gave me RS rim. This display is digital on this side and analog on this side.
So weird.
And the cool thing is with the RPM, it highlights the numbers that are near the dial. Okay. So now 1 is highlighted. Okay. Then when you rev it up, like...
Oh. Yeah. Wow.
Nice touch.
Nice. Wow.
That's attention to detail.
Wow. Yeah, so the interior, I like this, but it's a bit out of place, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a sporty door handle. It's like a luxurious door handle.
Why is there a line?
Oh, because when you turn on the lights.
Oh, disco light.
Ambient light, but only in red. No other color.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they want to match your red stitching.
Oh. Instead of hiding the LED strip, what they do is they just put it in the center for you to see.
Yeah.
But even Mercedes is now hiding now.
Yeah.
The previous generation, they are hiding. Now they're not hiding.
Just exposing. So, decent size. Actually, not much wider than the city.
Yeah.
I remember the previous Civic had like a bit of extra space in the center here.
Oh, this one don't have.
Yeah, this one don't have. But they did carve out a lot of space here.
Yeah. See the glove box. Oh,
soft opening. Almost too soft.
Hey, but why so small? Why so bulbous here?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So thick.
Why so bulbous here?
It is a bit.
Yeah, like what's going on in there?
Oh, slow, dude. I got no time for that. The headliner in the RS is black.
Oh, black color. No wonder it feels a bit more claustrophobic, but also class lah.
Then your
China white, not China white.
It's slightly
yellow.
Warmer.
Yeah, slightly warmer. Yeah. So what's your take on looks?
The looks to me, this car will age quite well.
You think so?
Yeah, will age better than the other car.
It's another way to say it is plain Jane from beginning until the end of its service life.
It's less offensive.
Yeah.
It's after a few days.
That's a very nice way to say no personality.
But it's still a 4.
Oh, 4?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very generous of you. Must be your Honda fanboy rubbing off on the scoring.
A little bit. But also, I think...
I'm not going to give it a 4, man.
Yeah,
I think sedans are dying, that's true. Sedan is the new coupe. Those who buy coupes in the 70s and 80s are now buying sedans because they're not going to go into the mainstream and buy the CX-5s, the CR-Vs. So for me, a sedan has to really stand out. I would have expected Civic to remain relevant by standing out the way at least its predecessor did. By not standing out, how are you going to sell? So why am I buying this when I can buy a CX-5? Or if it's the price of a CR-V, why am I buying this when it looks like that? When it looks so boring? So I need to justify the reason and also give my key to my friend. Drive it, then you'll know. Dude, I personally think it's not a great decision to go down a conservative route. You can go down a conservative route with your SUV or crossover, but your sedan is the new coupe. And coupes have always had a reason to exist because it just looks damn good. If it does not look good, it shouldn't exist. So I'll give you a 3 out of 5 for looks lah. It's not ugly. It's just, dude, just do a bit more than that. Yeah, but interior wise, I have less complaint. I think the interior is done pretty okay. Certain parts are padded pretty okay. Screwed well enough. I would just prefer a different color scheme because black on black on black on black is very boring, bro. Give me some color scheme.
Yeah.
So interior wise, I actually am not disappointed. It's just a choice of color. It's just so black. That kind of for me pulls down the point a little bit. 3.8 for me.
I think they could have focused on a few areas like lumbar support.
Right. Oh yeah, the seat. I forgot
for the seat. Yeah.
It's very flat.
It is flat.
It feels very 90s.
I'm slouching in the car. And then, passenger side, why no electric? Another thing is, this is very good to have wireless Apple CarPlay, but you need to have wireless charger lah. At least make it optional.
Okay.
It's small things.
But legroom is okay. Headroom is okay. So I think it's an improvement over the previous one.
It is. Okay.
What's the score?
It's 4.
What? You might as well don't complain.
I mean, my complaints are very minor.
4 is excellent. Oh, the seats are real, man.
The seats are...
I mean, the complaint for the seats are real.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. 3.999.
I don't feel shortchanged, but there are complaints. There are complaints that are like, why you choose to do this, why like that, All right, so your score is a 4 on the exterior, 4 on the interior. Mine is a 3 on the exterior, 3.5 on the interior. But overall, I think it's satisfactory for me. I think it's okay. Just not blown away, bro. All right,
let's talk about value.
Right, so value. Okay, let's play guess the price. This is the most expensive Civic you can buy in Malaysia.
Correct.
But it's CKD.
Yes.
And it's 1.5. This thing would have gone for 150,000 in the previous generation. But nowadays with ringgit gone to we are looking at 155. Huh?
Actually, this car is 145.
Oh!
But the base model, the price increased.
Oh,
because you don't get
something.
You don't get the 1.8. The Accord, when I got inside, I felt like it was a taste of 5 Series.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the dynamic, man.
Yeah.
Such a big chunk of a car. It was just negotiating the slaloms like nobody's business.
And then,
right?
1.5 litre.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Like what?
And it's like doing all these things.
I know.
And this one, I get inside, I was like, this is a taste of an A4.
Yeah, it is. It feels like an A4, man, with a bit more vibration and a bit noisier.
Yeah, it's okay.
And no lumbar support. But I think as a product itself, it's pretty good. Doesn't feel flimsy like it used to in most previous Civics.
I don't think this is going to sell as well as the last one.
I can't give it a 4 lah, because a 4 is excellent. It's no longer an excellent value proposition considering what you have in the market.
Yeah.
You know, considering the fact that you can get an X70 for 100,000, you know. Reluctantly, I give you a 3.8.
That's fair. I have to agree lah. Good job making sure this segment doesn't completely die.
Yeah.
This is the right way to do it. After this, we don't know. Maybe you have to go electric already.
Yeah. So yeah, Autophiles liking the car for what it gives you, especially in sports mode. Autophiles signing out. Wow, Ani Chom.
Hello. Ani Chom.
Hello. I see Honey Chom.
Honey Chom.
It's not mistakes lah. You know, it's okay lah.
It's taste.
Yeah, it's a matter of taste.
Chest hair.
This car is meant to be driven like that. I'll show you. Let me illustrate.